Piers, this is a big moment. Rishi is his friend, but he wants more.
Yes.
And we've already pledged about £8 billion. Money is tight. Is there a danger of fatigue for the British public about the war in Ukraine?
Well, yes, I think there is. But, I mean, he's had a very successful trip over the last few days. In Germany, gave him another, I think, £4 billion worth of promises of more missiles and more support. But I do think it's very important that we don't lose faith. And I think most of the British public would like to see Russia beaten.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think it's important we do continue to support him. But I think this meeting and these series of meetings are going to be more about the long-term strategy and how to actually end this war, because at the moment the prospects are that it will continue for some time. And that really would be bad. At the same time, Ben Wallace is trying not to reduce the defence force in this country by as much as many people, particularly the Treasury, of course, want to see. So, on the one hand, they want more support, which I believe we should do, but on the other hand, our own forces are shrinking. So it's slightly nervous time.
I think what worries me, Piers, about this is that we seem to have been given up on any sort of diplomatic solution. Now, people, every time I say that, they say, but you're so naive, you can't negotiate with Putin. And there probably is some truth to that. But without some sort of diplomatic route, all we're going to do is just plough billions and billions of Western money to keep this apparently endless war going.
Well, I think that I mean, there's a G7 meeting coming up later this week, and there I think they're going to put pressure on Russia in terms of the pipelines. But yes, I think there's going to be more of an effort, and I'm sure these discussions will focus quite a lot on how they can resolve this war without just simply putting more and more muscle, more and more armoury into it.
You mentioned the G7 meetings in Japan. Rishi Sunak's going to. He's also going to Iceland. I was quite struck, Piers. Prime ministers often go abroad when they're in political difficulty. Mrs Thatcher was in Paris when she discovered she hadn't got enough votes in that leadership ballot. Gordon Brown was in Washington when there was a huge revolt against him. It can be dangerous to be abroad.
Yes, and I mean, I think from what we've seen over the weekend with the Conservative Democratic Organisation, the very pro-Boris split in the party, me being even more vocal, and given the terrifying manifesto the Labour Party have produced in their policy handbook, this is not a time for disunity in the party, and Rishi needs to become a strong vocal leader, really achieve something, and he doesn't have much time.
Let's bring Darren in. Darren McCaffrey is also with us. Good morning, Darren. Nice to see you. Rishi Sunak has to tread a very fine line here, doesn't he? Because when this invasion started from Putin into Ukraine, the West very much got behind it. We welcomed Ukrainians into our home. I think most people are under the illusion this might be something quite quick and it will be over and we would do our bit. How does Rishi Sunak now appease those people who are losing patience with the never-ending chequebook that we seem to be signing?
Yeah. I mean, I think, first of all, I mean, his immediate concern will always be what MPs think, and there has not been any substantive move at all in Parliament within the Conservative Party suggesting that in any way the UK should take the foot off the pedal, if you like, in terms of support for Ukraine. In fact, actually, I think one of even its critics within the party, the Boris Johnson supporters within the party, would say that that is one of the things that at least has carried on Boris Johnson's absolute sense that Britain is going to be the leader in supporting Ukraine. Out there among the public, I mean, I've not really seen many opinion polls on this, but I don't see a massive shift in public opinion where people feel that, you know, the support should stop any time soon. I think for the UK, they obviously do realise that any deal or any sense of conclusion to this conflict, if it is going to be diplomatic, is not going to be brought by the UK. It's going to have to involve bigger forces, let's be honest about this, whether that be China, whether that be the United States. But in the end, as I say, I think when you look at it politically from the Prime Minister's point of view, this is a very safe pair of hands. When President Zelenskyy tweets this morning, "My friend Rishi," that is something I think that people within the Conservative Party appreciate.